Good morning, everyone. Come on in. Come in while I'm trying to put this, pin this phone number 8751 in. Good morning, everyone. Happy July 4th. I'm going to talk about our freedom sale we're having. Um, Pardon me. I have been sick for the last few days, so I'm just recovering my voice. So I'm going to try to talk in a very slow manner so I don't strain myself anymore. But good morning, everyone. My name is Aisha Chidole. I'm an immigration attorney here in Atlanta, Georgia, but I represent clients all over the United States. We have offices here in Atlanta and in Florida, but we represent clients in all 50 states. With your family immigration matters, so your location does not matter. So before I get into it, today I wanted to talk about the sales that we're having. So we're going to be having a freedom, and forgive me, I'm going to be coughing a lot because my voice is just returning. So everything is like scratching my throat. We're having a freedom sale this week. So 20% off of your qualified green card cases or naturalization cases. So if you qualify, you would get 20% off of any of our green card application cases, depending on what it is that you're applying for. Same thing with naturalization. Good morning, Novelette. Um, Tyler, there's no topic today. Today's a frequently asked question. I'm not going to be here too long because my voice is just it's a struggle. So I just want to talk about frequently asked questions. So this is your time to ask me questions. If you have any questions on immigration that you want to know about, feel free to ask me those questions. And I've put my number in the I've pinned my number on Instagram. It's 407-995-6567. You can also send a message on WhatsApp. It's 404-333-8751 to schedule. Good morning, Christy on YouTube. Let's see if we have any questions. Good morning, Koku Simmer on Instagram. I'm Zobia. Good morning. Good morning, Kingin. Um, let's see. Good morning, Davis. On YouTube, guys, feel free to ask questions. If you guys don't have any questions, then I'm gonna jump off super early today. Good morning, Marcus Speak. Who's asking how long does it take um, now for naturalization processing? Naturalization processing has taken a much longer time. Before, you could put your naturalization application and you'll be done, within about 6 months, 7 months. But now we're really seeing 12 to 15 months from when you submit the naturalization application. So this would depend on your field office. Some field offices are working much slower than the others, but I would say just plan for 12 months. If your green card has expired, you can try and get a info pass so that you can get a stamp. That way, you're able to work and still travel while you have your stuff pending. Okay. Um, um, Tyler Dan says, "What's the difference between filing VAWA through a U.S. citizen versus a green card holder?" As of today, right now, there's not really a difference today, but generally the difference is that if you file it through a green card holder, you have to wait for visas to be available to apply for adjustment of status. So with US citizens, adjustment of status is always available because, there's an unlimited visa. With green card holders, it is based on the visa bulletin for each month. Right now, the visa bulletins are current for green card holders, which means that you can apply for adjustment of status as a VAWA applicant if the visas are current right now. Unlike when you're filing just a typical marriage base with a green card holder, not only do the visas have to be current, you have to be in status to be able to have a green card holder file for you. It's a bit different when you have a VAWA case. You don't have to be in status, and green cards are current. So right now, technically, you can do exactly what a U.S. citizen, you can do exactly what someone who's married to a U.S. citizen would do. Okay. Christina on YouTube says, good morning from Atlanta. Hey, Atlanta in the house. Is it okay that my prima facie has not been automatically renewed? I sent in a renewal, but no response going to 60 days. So Christiana, you don't need to send in for a renewal. Prima facies are automatically renewed. Sometimes it's delayed. It's okay that it is delayed. Oh, guys, I'm really struggling this morning. So it's okay that it is delayed because that happens sometimes. It may just be delayed in mailing it out to you, but they will mail it out to you. And after the initial 1 year prima facie, they mail the rest out in 12-month 6-month increments. Okay. Alex said, is it possible to be called for an I-485 interview while VAWA is pending? So the answer to this is that it depends. What is your I-485 under? So if you filed an I-485 based on marriage and you never were able to get an abeyance or request an abeyance, it is possible. If you filed your I-485 because you're married to an abuser and you submitted it with your VAWA application, no, it is not. In order for them to call you for a VAWA I-485 interview based on a VAWA petition, the VAWA case must be approved. It must be approved before they can do that. Okay. Marcus Spark Lady says, if one was to file in for a K1 visa now, how long will it take from time of filing to interview? I'm from Cameroon and my fiance is in the US. Well, I will tell you the good news is that Cameroon is not taking a lot of time. Like, I know one of our Cameroonian clients that we just got their K1. It took a total of about 12 months because their interviews available. In fact, the interviews were so quick that we actually the client wasn't ready for the interview, so she asked for us to change the date. So Cameroon is one of those countries where it's not too crazy with visa applications. So if you get your I-129F approved, you can get an interview very quickly. It's not the same for other countries. We're just using Cameroon since that's the country they asked. There's some other countries that it's taken 18 months. So Kiana says, how many prima facies do you get until VAWA is approved? By the way, you're doing an amazing job. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm really struggling today. Still under the weather, but trying to push through. So there's no requirement of how many prima facies that you get. It's just a matter of when they make a decision on your case. You can have a prima facie and they make a decision on your case without one prima facie if they approve your case, depending on when you get your prima facie and depending on when your case is approved. Like I said, we've had people approved for VAWA cases in under 12 months. It's not the norm. Usually there's something that leads to that approval that I can trace back to. It's not the norm. Most people you're going to see at least 20 months, 20 to 24 months, or to 2.5 years. That's where the most average people would be. But so depending on where you file, you can get as many prima facies as you need for that period. Okay. Igbo Proud says, is there any way to adjust status here if you're IWI? So if for those of you who don't know what IWI means entry without inspection, meaning you didn't go through like a plane where someone stamped your visa, or you didn't go through by sea where customs and border stamped you, or by land where you stamped. You basically floated in and there was no paper record of you. If you are IWI, the only way you can adjust your status, remember guys, adjustment of status means processing your green card within the United States. The only way that you can do that if you're iwi is if, one, you qualified for VAWA through your spouse, child, or parent, right? As a, being abused by them. That's one. Another way is through a T visa. T visa is human trafficking. Human trafficking and labor-related human trafficking. So somebody brought you here and basically have turned you into to do forceful labor. A U visa where either you've experienced, you've been a victim of some kind of violence or a witness of it and how that affects you. Those are the only ways if you came in here iwi that you can adjust your status. Otherwise, you have to consular process, and in order for you to consular process, you have to get a hardship waiver approved, and you have to have a qualifying relative, which is the toughest part because a lot of times people might not have a qualifying relative to do it. Okay. Daya Daya Lashe says, I have 2 year advance parole, but was scared to travel because I had a traffic offense which was going 80 on a 55. The case was dismissed, but it's on my record. Should I be worried? And I have stayed for 3 years before. Okay, I think your stuff cut off. So Daya, if you have an advance parole, so the thing is, I can't give you legal advice because I'm technically not your lawyer. Not technically, I'm not your lawyer. However, generally, if you have advance parole, in a scenario like this, and you don't have a removal proceeding, and you're sure you don't have a removal proceeding because you've run your alien numbers to make sure, and you're sure you didn't receive any letter to appear in front of an immigration judge, if you fall into one of those categories, I would travel. So, that's that. Marcus says, I just came online on YouTube and boom, just stumbled on your live sessions. Thank you for answering my questions. Let me go and subscribe. Thank you. Yay. Yeah, and share this video. I appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Will the I-751 interview waiver be canceled when you apply for N400 while the I-751 is pending? No, you cannot move over to the N400 until they approve the I-751, meaning you can't be naturalized until I-751 is. So if you have a pending I-751 and then you qualify for an N400 and then you go apply for an N400, in order for USCIS to make a decision to approve you for your N400, they first have to interview and approve you for the 751. If the 751 is not approved, you're not getting approved for naturalization. But no, they're not going to cancel the 751 because it must be approved in order for you to naturalize. Okay, so Cancer Dawn says, can a person qualify for a green card if they haven't been married and have been living here for some time? At this time, there is no law that allows you to get a green card just because you've been living in the US for a long time. Maybe in the future we'll see something like that. But, as you guys should know or understand, immigration is very much a political tool. You will notice that is why every 4 years with each new president, it is pandemonium, with each person passing their own immigration agenda. And that's why, honestly, if I were you and you guys qualify for something, this is the time to do it. This is the time to do it because at this rate, we don't know in the next 2 years who's going to be the president, and you don't want to go back to 2 years ago, with the well test and all of the stuff, that was required, which was making so many people ineligible to get green cards. So immigration, unfortunately, is just something that politicians use as part of their platform and what they use, with Biden saying that this is one of his biggest agenda, even though, I would say we've really not seen a significant improvement. But trust me, this is as good as you're going to get it. Even the fact that you're going back and forth with the Supreme Court and prosecutorial discretion, which basically Biden has said, Biden basically was like, if people are not criminals, they're not a threat to the US and their removal, just do PD. PD means prosecutorial discretion, and just either terminate the proceeding and let them just go, or see if there's another way to adjust their status. Supreme Court just shut that down, or it's going back and forth. I actually I haven't paid attention this last few days to see what the change was, because it was supposed to be struck down on, was it June 10th or something like that. So basically, if you qualify for immigration and you want to do immigration, this might be as good as it get, because honestly, we really don't know who's going to be the president, in the next 2 years. And with inflation and them saying there's no there people, recession, and if people start losing jobs, who are the first people they target? Immigrants, and say, well, we shouldn't be giving them visas when there are people here that don't have jobs. So if you qualify for something, you definitely want to try and do it right now. Okay. Let's see, what other questions do I have? Does the affidavit of support have to be a U.S. citizen, or can it be from a green card holder as well? This is a very good question. An affidavit of support is something that is given, that you have to apply. You have to add to your application when you're petitioning for someone. There are a few cases with exceptions, i.e., VAWA is one where you're exempted from that, and certain humanitarian-based cases, like asylum, El Rifa, that was the Liberian Refugee Act, which no longer you can no longer apply for. But generally, the person that's petitioning for you has to prove that they can sponsor you. If that person cannot sponsor you, you need a joint sponsor. When you have a joint sponsor, that joint sponsor must be a U.S. citizen or a 10-year green card holder. So a conditional green card holder cannot do the joint sponsor. It has to be a 10-year green card holder. Okay. Mark said, I have a friend who did file in for citizenship, and within 4 months, she was given her citizenship from the time of filing till when the citizenship was given, and she filed in for her fiancé. That's wonderful. I have clients who it's happened for in 2 months, but that's not normal. So, I always say to people, I have a friend, Joe this, or Randy this, my cousin this, or my uncle this. Everybody's case is different. Every officer is different. You don't have one officer reviewing all the cases in the world. You don't know who your officer is going to be. You don't know who your field office is going to be. You don't know what the scheduling is going to be like. So you will never be the same as the next person, which is why they have standards of time where they say this is the standard time where it takes. Even though that's the standard time, you're going to have some people where it will take shorter and longer. But I guarantee you that it is very rare right now with the COVID backlog to see somebody do from start to finish an 8-month fiancé visa. And if you do know somebody, I personally will give you $100. I'm just joking. Show it to me. Show me the proof. I don't want to hear I have someone. Show me the date of receipt and the date of approval, because it is rare. It doesn't happen. If it was in the US, it's one thing, but consular processing, you are at the mercy of whatever country you're processing your case. And you guys cannot imagine the backlog. You just cannot imagine the backlog. Imagine that we had a previous president that basically banned, half of the petitions that were being filed. Then we had certain countries that had the initial an additional ban, and then you had closures because of COVID. Do you guys know how many millions of people file for immigration on a yearly basis? So you have that backlog. So please do not let anybody sell you a dream or tell you that it's going to take you 2 months or 8 months, to get something done, especially consular processing, because it's really not reality, and you'll just set yourself up for disappointment. You're better off just going based on the timeline, put it in your application, and just forgetting about it, knowing that everything will work out, but it has to follow the timeline. Now, and if you've passed the timeline, and then you can become worried and say, okay, well, what's going on? I've passed the timeline. Yeah, like I've said, and I've always told you guys, there are going to be some people that are very lucky here within the US where they can put in something and their stuff will get approved just like that. I will never forget, I had a client, and sometimes favor is not fair. If you've ever heard that phrase, favor is not fair. Like, I've had a client who was an LPR means a green card holder, who was filing for his wife, but also naturalizing. So he couldn't file for his wife because he had to naturalize. So we made a decision that he was going to submit just the I-130 and he was going to try to naturalize. From a timeline perspective, everything showed that it would take him about 12 to 15 months. But this guy got his naturalization within 2 months and were able to file for adjustment of status, and she got her I-130 approved. Maybe they saw that and the person just took mercy on them, but you just never know who's doing it. So Kiara says, yeah, it's good to file now. We have an immigration-friendly president and Secretary of Homeland Security. I'm so scared that it doesn't get worse with the next president because immigration is already stressful. It is very stressful. And you guys have no idea, we as immigration lawyers, the level of stress we deal with. I come on here and I, smile with you guys and, I give you guys, answer you guys' questions. But on a daily basis, even with the current president, the rules are changing. Every day the rules are changing. Every day before every submission, oh my gosh, did the rule change? What are we going to do? This person has this thing. Oh my gosh. Prior to the previous president, if you had an I-751, and even if they denied you of your conditional green card, no one could terminate your green card unless an immigration judge. What happened? Previous president decides, you know what? USCIS can terminate your green card, and you can go straight to removal proceedings with no green card. So, there's just so much at stake, that you should not, wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow is never promised. I think the mistake many people make and live in life is that they think tomorrow is promised, All right. Let me answer one more question, guys, and then I got to jump off. Okay, so this is a good question. I got married to a U.S. citizen. Can I submit my child's paperwork for filing at the same time as mine? This is a very good question and a big source of confusion to people who get married and have children. So let's first start with this. If you get married to a U.S. citizen and you already have a child, if you married that U.S. citizen after your child turned 18, that child is not qualified to adjust through that spouse. Just so you know, because a lot of people don't know that. If you get married and your child is over the age of 18, your spouse cannot petition for that child. So because what confuses people is that on a normal basis, a normal parent can file for their child until 21 under immediate relative. It changes when it's a step parent. And see, these are the nuances of immigration that we talk about that you really need to understand. Like, these mistakes can become critical. So you can't. If your child is under 18, you can petition at the same time, but now petitioning will vary depending on, one, where your child is, and two, what your spouse's status is, because the process is different. If your spouse is a green card holder versus a U.S. citizen, the forms are different, and it's also different depending on where your child lives. So all these things are things that I'm happy to discuss with you in a consultation. I do have to jump off. On Friday, I'm going to be out of the country. It depends on my schedule. I might come on live at 1:30. If not, I will see you guys on Tuesday next week, but I will try and come on dependent on my schedule because I won't be in the country. But I hope you guys have a good day. And don't forget, if you qualify for a case or you've consulted with me and you're trying to put your monies together, this is a 1 week only thing. Get your 20% off. This is a good time. 20% off any case that is based on getting a green card application. So your initial green card. It doesn't cover NOIDs or RFEs. Same thing, naturalization will give you 20% off. So this week only, till Saturday only, is a good time to call. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.